Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you're watching this show from. My name is Denise Belil, and I'm a serenity expert and positive intelligence specialist. The reason I'm here today, well, it's episode 32. My goodness, I keep forgetting. 28. Episode 28 of every Monday at noon. I'll be here with you, and 90% of the time I bring a guest. So today I have an extraordinary guest, and I'll tell you a little bit more about her in a second. But the reason why I do this show and why I call it It's All Good, look who's here for a chat, is because it's all good. It's my favorite thing to say. Whatever happened in my life, I always say it's all good, whether it's positive or negative. And also, look at this. It's my favorite cup. It's all good. I love that cup because first it's big, it's orange and white, and it says that. The reason I bought it was not because it says it's all good, but mostly because it was big. But now, as I live my life and as I experience things in my life, I realize that a lot of time I will say that. And why do I say that? What are the circumstances that led me to say that? Well, my way of thinking is that whatever happened in the past, whether it's 5 seconds ago or 5 years ago, I can't change it. I can't change what happened. Like it's behind me. It's like it's gone. I mean, it's past. There's nothing we can do to change the past. We've been talking about time traveling in shows and stuff, but I don't know anyone that has actually time traveled. And so why worry about it? Because it's gone. You can't change it. So all you can do is move forward in your life, live the present, appreciate today, and say it's all good. What about the future? What about worry about an event that might happen, or a presentation you have to do, or something you have to create, and you're worrying about it, and you have anxiety, and you're stressed out? You can't change that either. All you can do is change the moment. If you feel you're not prepared for that presentation, stop everything you do and work on it. So these are things that can alleviate pressure and everything that's happening in your life. So it's all good. So in all situation, work on always looking at the gift in every situation. There's always something that will come out that would allow you to live in that moment and appreciate every single instant. Today, I am honored to have my guest. It's Omolola Adekeye, and she's a wealth strategist. It's tax time, and it's time to talk about where you want to put your money, where you want to invest, how you want to live the next year, the next 2 years, 5 years. What do you want to do with yourself and your money? And so our topic is, who's the goose? I'm the goose. That's the topic. Do you remember the fable of the goose that lay golden eggs? What was the moral of that story? Too much greed leads to great loss. So let's not get greedy. What was the other value of that story? Don't kill the goose that lays the eggs. Simply put, protect the source. Well, I like that. I look forward to talk about that. So let me tell you a little bit about Omolola. Omolola. She's a business owner, and her passion for life is evident in everything she does, honoring you where you are and elevating you to where you want to be, bringing forth her knowledge as a lawyer to ensure you find the most compatible term for building and sustaining your business. She brings to her clients access to debt financing for innovative projects. Omolola is a legal professional who has been able to leverage her passion for law into the international business area. Growing up there has always been a growing desire to help people. Her desire grew to bring about the establishment of philanthropy arms of her business. With that vehicle, she find opportunities through different projects to be of service of humanity. Wow, that's amazing. So we'll talk about a lot of amazing things today with Omolola. So let's me welcome you, Omolola. Thank you for being here today. It's such a great pleasure. And how people can lay their own eggs and also create their own future, because it's all up to us, right?
Yes, it is.
So would you like to add a little bit about yourself first before we
Yeah.
get the conversation started?
At first, I want to say thank you for giving me this opportunity to be here with you today. And I want to thank those listening for their time, sharing that time with us. It's an honor to be here. So thank you. Yeah, my name is Omolola Adekeye, and I'm happy to be here. I have evolved like many of us are doing each day. um, I chose very on earlier in in my adult life to be home with my children.
Mm,
Even though I studied law and everything, and just because I that's what worked for me, and
mhm,
so I chose to find ways to support small business owners in that process, and it's been a learning journey because there's so many aspects of owning a business. It's not just the conceptualization of it, but it's you actually have to plan it. It's a baby; it has to grow like a toddler. Everything. So just seeing all that process and being someone who loves information. I've always been intrigued to find strategies and solutions that people may not necessarily think of, that would work in for business, for home life, and everything. So I come to see myself as someone who helps to form, build, and sustain a business. Today we'll be talking a lot about sustaining. And
mhm.
look forward to that conversation. So
Oh,
once again,
wonderful.
it's my pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. So tell me about, like, you talked to me in the past about the key money rule. So what's that? How does that work? What are the key things people should know about the rules of money?
I think going into this to the story would help us understand that they're very simple. You have to make sure your money is working for you. You have to make sure you're saving. You're saving. Money, and it's doing what it needs to do, basically. So,
Oh yeah, well then
when
how
you
would people do that?
very well. So let's talk about our story. We all remember the story of the goose, right?
Yes.
And the golden who was laying the golden eggs, and we always have the opportunity of seeing that that story grow. They wanted more and more, and what happened? But
And in the end they lose everything
and
because
then
they were
in the end,
greedy,
yes, they
right?
lost everything because they were greedy. But there's one key aspect of it. Who was laying the egg? The goose. So the goose was the greatest asset in that
Mm-hmm.
process. So in our lives every day as we live it, whether we're in business or at home, who is the goose?
And that's your topic. I'm the goose.
Yeah, you are.
Nobody else lay eggs for me, unfortunately. If I was ever to find a egg laying thing or person, I was like, okay, I'm keeping this, you know.
So
But
that's
it's not a story. That's real life. So I have to
yeah.
be the goose.
So that's it. It's just the same thing. We are we are our own goose.
Yeah.
We are the greatest asset to ourselves. So
Hmm.
So, that's why it's important that we have to protect that source. We have to protect ourselves. So we don't talk about protection, growth, and transfer of wealth. All
Okay.
within Everything comes out within that story, because we have to understand that we are important. You know, the value we bring to everything we do is important, and we have to protect that, and we have to protect those we love in the process of doing that. So
Mhm.
understanding and allowing ourselves to feel that we are the greatest asset is the beginning to help us really understand, you know how money works, and what is money, what is it supposed to be doing with us and for us.
Okay. So let me stop you here for a second. So let's explore that. I am my greatest asset. So let's take me hypothetically as an example. I'm my greatest asset.
Yeah.
So what is it that I can do? Like if I was to work with you, what is it that I can do that you would work with me with to say, okay, you're your greatest asset, so that you can do this. So what does that really mean?
So consider me your financial architect in that process. So what
Financial what?
architect?
Architect. Okay.
Yes. So what we will be doing
We're
is
building a house.
exactly that is what we will be doing. We will be building a house, your
Okay.
financial house. And we will
Okay.
start from the very beginning where you are right now. However it looks,
Mm-hmm.
however it seems, I would want you to be proud of it and not look and say, oh,
I don't have enough, or I haven't done enough, or
exactly.
I haven't
Exactly.
invested since I was 15. I know
Yeah.
people that have done that. Oh my goodness. I wish my parents have taught me that. From the first money they've made, their parents says, put 10% away. And now they're retired at 50. I was like,
You got it. That's the key there.
I
That's
know,
the
but now
key.
it's too late. Now my feeling is like, oh
No.
my goodness, it's too
Okay.
late.
So
What am
I'm
I
going to,
doing?
that is exactly why I love having these conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we do have those who have started early.
Teach your
Yes.
children, whomever listen,
Yes.
10%
10.
right from the first paycheck.
I say 10% of whatever.
Yeah.
Any income, any kind of money that comes, be it a gift,
Hmm.
whatever, just put 10% away.
That
Do
makes a huge difference. I mean, it's,
do not touch it,
yeah,
you know, because that is the leverage. That is what is going to grow.
yeah,
We're talking, we have to understand that we also, in this process, you want peace of mind. You want, beautiful relationships. All these come when we know where we've laid good foundations for ourselves. But
hmm,
when we don't have those foundations, then we have the rocks and a lot of things going on. But you know what? It's never too late because
yeah.
we live in environments where we're not taught these so quickly, so early. So a lot of times we go on tangents, and a lot of us come from other countries into the countries where we call home right now, and don't give ourselves the time to really learn how money works in that environment. We
Hmm.
come with our own precept notions of how it worked where we were born, and it may not really be the same.
It's not
You-
always the same. No.
exactly. So it's, for me, it's not when you start, it's starting. It's really starting, and there are different programs, different solutions for that could help wherever you are. You
That's
know,
sort of a what I talk about with my clients with the coaching. It's all about in motion coaching. You just have to be in motion. You just have to take an action in order to
right?
get a result.
The
So
reaction,
that's the
correct?
same for what you're saying. Just
Yeah,
just start. Like even if you can't, I imagine what you're saying is even if you can only spend like put away $50 a month. Well, that's $50, right? It's more than what you did last month.
correct, correct. It is more, and we don't know how much that can grow to. It's the consistency of it. It's the discipline of it. You know, understanding that savings is not it, it's not a must, but it's a requirement to build wealth,
Hmm.
because you need to have some funds that you can do things with outside of what you call your living expenses. A lot of
Mhm.
people, I have a lot of friends in the in the financial space who probably do well with numbers and give these explanations I'm trying to share with a mathematical viewpoint and everything.
Formulas and everything, yeah.
But I just like to be simple. you know what you
Mhm.
want to achieve in your life. You want to have peace of mind, you want to have good health, and you want to have beautiful relationships.
Mhm.
And all these can be achieved depending on how well you plan, how well you take yourself as the asset, as the goose who provides, and plan to 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 help that situation. Yeah.
Mhm. What you've shared with me here was, for example, like some rules is you were saying never lose money. So what does that mean? Never lose money.
Never lose money. There's something called money leaking or money transfer. That is
Okay.
when money is not you put money in places where it's not working for you.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
You understand?
So
For
really like doing bad investment or
not in it may not really necessarily be a bad investment. It could be, for instance, a lot of us have we have subscriptions and stuff that we just allow to keep going and
yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
we,
Like
we, we don't plan
paying for the last 2 years, paying for your gym where you couldn't go. So that's
exactly.
losing money.
Yeah, you're losing money because when you add up all that money that you put towards the gym,
Or magazine that you don't read
or
or
that's on a small level. On another level is reviewing all your documents every year.
mm-hmm,
Whether it's your life insurance policies or
mm-hmm.
your 401ks if you have them, or anything,
Or RRSPs for
your RSPs,
Canadians,
yes, for Canadians, making sure that you sit down
that
with
it's making money for you.
with whoever is helping you in that
Yeah, your
regard,
advisor. Yeah.
and make sure that it's making money, and make sure you understand what they're saying. If you don't, always seek a second opinion, because it's
Mm-hmm.
your money and you have to make sure it's working for you. And even with regards to our mortgages, sometimes we have our mortgages that are leaking money. We're
So how does that happen?
we're probably paying too much,
Too much interest on our mortgage.
we're probably paying too much, and we're not getting the very best value for
Mm-hmm.
ourselves in that
Mm-hmm.
process. Even if your insurance, even so I said insurance, even if your interest rate is low, you want to look at the long term of it, because there are other there's solutions out there that allow you to pay at a much lesser time that give you more value.
Mm-hmm.
So the
Mm-hmm.
key is having value. That is when you're not losing, money. Yeah.
So so another point that you brought up was never pay more tax than you have to. Who wants to pay more tax than they have to?
We
But
have to
how so you have to have a really good
we yeah
tax strategist to help you with that.
we have to come to we have to allow ourselves to understand how the process for works in our
In your
community.
own country, province, whatever,
Yes,
like every.
yeah. And then sit down with someone who understands, and make sure that you're not that you should not pay. Of course, we want things to work. We want everything to work very well, but let's give value to ourselves too. So if there are strategies that you can put in place, or solutions, simple solutions that could help you, um, you know, make sure that you're not giving as much as you should be, why not take advantage of it?
Mm-hmm.
And there are different solutions right now that people may not so much be aware of, that do provide these kind of helps. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like for me, I put everything on a spreadsheet and I give that to my accountant. And for, like these are like my cell phone, my part of my house, because I do my business in my house. I do like my gas, my parkings, my electricity, my cell phone, as I said, like my mortgage, part of my mortgage. Like all these things can be deducted. Like restaurants, if you go to restaurant, let's say we go to like one thing that I've learned is go to restaurant with friends, and then they ask you, how are you doing? I say, oh, I'm doing really well and my business doing great and I can always do more business. Do you know anyone that could use my business? So you've talked business and then you can write it off. You don't have to talk the whole 5 hours or 2, 3 hours about business, but as long as you talk business and you say, okay, I was at the restaurant with so and we talked business, and then you can deduct part of your restaurant bill. Like there's so much vacation, organized to do a little chat on business while you're on vacation,
Yeah.
and or go prospect, when you're on
Yeah.
business, go talk to a
Yeah.
few businesses, and here you go, business expense, right?
Yeah.
There's so much
Yeah.
we can do to reduce our
There's,
taxes
there
while we're
is so much.
living our regular life.
There is so much, and outside of that, there's so much you can do, even to plan for your future, that would give you the type of income that you seek to live the life that you're living now, even then,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
And that goes with your third point, which was never let your money stop compounding.
yeah,
So
every
how does that work? How do you not let your money stop compounding?
you again is coming to understand that that's the best way to have money as an energy to move and work. Finding solutions and places where you can place your money that will allow it to keep growing. That is the compound effect.
Mm-hmm.
That is
So
what
have
happens.
your money working for you.
Correct. That when you have that 10% that you have put in all this while, you can take that and put it in different strategies and different
Mm-hmm.
ways for it to, keep growing. And that's the compound.
Wonderful. And so, what are the key strategies, like the top tip you can give people? Like, what is it that people should, like, people, regardless if they have start saving money a while ago or they just start now? So, what's the first thing people should do?
The first thing you should do, we've talked about it a lot already, is the 10%. Make
Mm-hmm.
sure
Stop
you're
paying
safe.
your face for yourself
Yes,
first.
you
So
pay
stop,
yourself first.
take that money. It
And
doesn't
just put
exist,
exactly put
and it's a lot easier, I imagine, if you teach your kids, people are listening right now, if you teach your kid to do that when they're young, they never question it later. Right now, for me, I'm thinking, let's say I'm not saving 10% of my income. I'm like, oh, but I need that money. I've been like, I'll be 10% short on whatever I'm spending. But imagine that you've lived your life as your kids starting now and moving forward, saving that 10%. They learn to live on 90% of their money, and they have that 10% that is growing and compounding. So that makes a huge difference, and then
yeah,
we just have to learn right now to put that 10% away,
right.
and less if you have to, but to start putting some money away, and
Yeah,
then of course start early, as we
start
mentioned, right?
early and then properly manage your debts. That's, you
Mm-hmm.
have a budget, you put everything where you can see it. Another thing you can do is to increase your cash flow by using different strategies to help that process.
Mm-hmm.
And
So,
then
so do you mean by that, like, if you need to to get another job or to so
um,
how do you mean by that increase cash flow? What does that look like?
there's simple things we can do. For instance, let's I know this a lot of times people look at life insurance policies, for instance,
Okay.
as something you leave to folks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But life insurance policies right now have a way of helping out business owners. If you have the right kind and it's properly strategized for you,
Okay.
it can be a source of cash flow. It can be a
Okay.
source for you to use for your business. So
So
that
you
is one.
can so you can borrow on your life insurance. Is that what
Correct.
that works?
Mhm. So that's
Do
one way.
Can we do that in Canada too?
Yes. You have
Okay, cool.
policies that can support that too in Canada. Mhm.
Nice.
It's
Let's
just
get life insurance.
yeah, it's just finding out, it's just
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's not really just because sometimes that second job may not really help your family life.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Because then you have less time for yourself.
Then you have less time. So it's what I really enjoy doing, and what I and a lot of the kind of partnerships I have is we look at what you have already. So we're not going to ask you to compound your money from what you don't have. We're going to
Uh-huh.
look at what you have and say, okay, how best is all you have right now working for you?
Wonderful. Yeah.
So if it's not, there are processes, there are solutions that we could offer within what you have that would start that process.
So I
That
guess when you talk to to a good advisor, they will find ways for you to do that, and they will look at all the avenue and what you can do, right?
Sure. And the thing is not limiting oneself, because some advisors would talk about, the regular things that you're used to, your stocks, your bonds, and stuff like that. But there are other processes also that you could also benefit from. So for me, it's seeking out information and coming to a personal relationship, you know, with with people you're on that journey with,
Uh-huh.
so that you can really understand. If someone is coming to you and is not really educating you, then maybe
Look
it's
somewhere else.
exactly. So it's not
Mm-hmm.
just me providing, oh, this is what you can do. I really want to show you why it is essential, or a better
Wonderful.
would be of better value to you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we go further. There's people, for those that are listening, if you have question, you can put them in a chat. You can like this chat, or if you're watching this from YouTube, you can subscribe to the channel, click on the bell to get notification whenever I post more things. But if you're out there right now and we're live and you have question, don't be afraid to put that in the chat. We're more than open to answer your question
More
as
than
it comes
happy to
along.
do that,
So,
you know. And
so be,
something I would really like to I mean, which is the final part of the three piece of, growing, um is protection.
mm,
It's very important to have plans in place to protect your asset and your estate. So,
yeah.
looking at wills, looking at trusts, they're all part of the wealth building process. They're all part
Mm-hmm.
of that process that ensures that you live a peaceful life, and you also are able to make sure that everything about you is very well taken care of when it comes when the time comes for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like with you're saying that now, and I work with Legal Shield. For those that don't know Legal Shield is a membership-based service that allows you to have access to a law firm to ask question, get recommendation, and I do that also. It's one of my goose eggs, money that comes in another way. And yesterday, I have someone that called me and was telling me, and he signed up as a member because his wife passed away a year ago. She didn't have her will. You're young, you're not 75 years old, so you don't think you'll die. So they didn't have a will. He doesn't have a will now. You will now because he's a member, and you can do your will with Legal Shield. But then what happened is that a year later, he's still struggling to get all the affair in order, to get the insurance stuff together, to get everything that she owned, even though you're married. So it's my spouse. It'll be easy. You just close the account and
Correct.
that's it. She's dead. It's not that easy.
No, it's not.
So it sounds like, oh, no problem. We're married. No problem. So yeah, protect your asset. Yes,
Yes.
thank you. Yes, you
Yes.
have to really be able
Yes, Miss
to.
Aisha, very, very important. It's so important. We have to do that.
So by doing your
And
will, living will, power
these are
attorney.
processes that grow with us. So it's
Yeah,
not, that's why it's living. It could, my circumstances could change and I want to change it in my will. I'm free. I can always do that. But just to have that plan in place, to
yeah.
have all these assets, all these, golden eggs that you have made for yourself in positions where they can always be of benefit, not just to you, but others around you, your, favorite charities, or however you want to,
Hmm.
but
Yeah, you
there's a
can
plan in
create
place.
trust. You can
Yes.
create, all this to protect whatever you've built, because everybody has a will, no matter what, whether you create your own or the government decide for you. So which one would you prefer?
Right. Exactly.
You want to decide where your things go. So you got to be important. So what is another top tips that you have for us beside protecting our, ensuring proper protection?
I mean, we also have to build long-term savings,
Mm,
and the earlier we start, the better. It's starting now, as we've said.
yeah,
We
there's no
just,
better moment than right
yes, and then
now.
we have to use the right kind of vehicles that help us compound those
Hmm.
savings. Yeah, so whatever country we are, it's in every country.
Yeah.
It may not be spoken of as much as some other types that are being, you know elevated and propagated, but seek information. Do not be afraid
Yeah,
to
there's
ask questions. It's not the first person that comes your way that
mhm.
gives you all the answers. You might just want to wait and see
Get
more.
get advice from a couple
Yeah,
of people and see what resonates with you.
exactly. and then make your decision, make informed decisions.
Yeah, yeah. Like get a second advice and a third advice, and you'll see. Like like I'm reading right now, totally unrelated, but sort of related. I'm reading the latest book from Tony Robbins, and it's Life Force, and he's talking about health. But then in the section I was reading, he was talking about when you get a diagnostic from one doctor, don't take that for being the end of it all. Like go get advice from specialists in the field of where the doctor told you you had a problem, and then bring them as your team of advisor, and then make the decision that fits for you. And that's the same thing with your money and with your investment.
Correct.
Get yourself a team of people, even though they don't know they're working with one another, but you get an advice from advisor A, advisor B, advisor C and D, and then see what you have in there, and talk to your spouse if you're in a
Yeah.
relationship, and see what works for the two of you, and how you want to move forward, how you want to work with your asset, and
Yeah.
then create that team effort. The advisor don't have to talk to one another, but you then take notes and know what each of them offer, and consult with your spouse and see what
And see
fits for
what
you.
fits, correct. And you know what fits, and if you're planning, if you just got married, you're planning to have children, what would fit for them.
Hmm.
If you do have children and you're thinking, okay, they're young, we're still gonna have to put them in college, what are the best plans out there, to help us with that process.
Yeah.
So many things. You have a teenager going to college, you still want to say, okay, what can we do to support when they leave
To
and they're
get to that
looking for
age, yeah.
work and all that. So there are different strategies, different a lot to really be of help, to give us that
Hmm.
peace of mind, to help us have the beautiful relationships we all crave to do.
Yeah.
Uh, only we just have to start, and we don't have to look at ourselves and say, "Oh, I I think I've wasted too much time or what I've no." There's nothing like time lost. There's always time gained. You know.
Oh, I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. It's always time gain. So it's always like the right time to start is right now. It's not like, oh, I'll do my taxes and I'll see how much money, I got left and all that. And we just start now. If you
Yeah.
haven't started, and if you have started, if you're not certain of what's happening, too often people, like what I see is people, I don't know if it's the same in the US and Canada, like at this time you have all the RSPs, like, or the investment, the way you put your money, 401k.
Mhm.
They have to do that, I think, by the end of this month. And then so you have all the companies that are harassing us, and say, okay, invest with us, invest with us. But once you go to the bank and you say, oh, okay, I'm gonna put like my $10,000, I pay less tax, but what is that $10,000 doing for you? Are you just putting in the bank so you don't pay taxes? But look for advisor that will give you the
Correct.
right reason
Yeah.
and where to put that 10,000.
Yeah.
Like,
In
don't just
essence,
do it rushed at the
yeah.
end of the year,
In
right?
essence, as you want to be an advocate for your own health, you also have to be an advocate for your own money.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not even. I mean, it's the bank. Where are you getting the best rate for your money? Sometimes it's not with the banks, really.
Yeah.
You can help support the banks, but look and really, really find what works and what works for you.
Yeah. Wonderful. So, do you have any last tips for the people that are listening? And do you have anything that you could share with them? Like, do you have like a download or something people could benefit from long term?
I would love, yeah. I mean, so one tip that I would love to share with everyone, is that you are of value, and whatever you create is of value, not just for you, but to those who will benefit from it. So, do you have a business idea? You have something in your mind that you've always thought, oh, would this work? Will it not work? Don't waste time really bringing it out, because the reason why you're thinking it is because you're to do it. And I would
Mm.
love to welcome. I mean, I do a no cost analysis for folks. I call it a financial blueprint. I I'm sure I'll be able to share my website and the link,
Yeah,
and
we'll put that in the chat right
yes,
after our
and people can
talk. So,
go and just book a time and a session with me and just mention that you're from this wonderful time we've had. It's all
yeah.
good, and we're all here to chat. We're chatting about money today because it's key.
Yes.
And just put in the comment that you're here from that show, and I will be obliged to really sit down with you for 2 sessions, and let's figure out
Oh,
how
wow, that's amazing.
of what you can be doing with your money.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a really amazing gift, because your time is valuable, and the information you'll give to these people will be priceless for sure.
For sure. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here today. And just stay there. I'll be right back with you. And thank you, everyone, for watching. It was an amazing show. So you want to, if you just catch that at the end, you might want to go back to the top, because it's an amazing and all amazing information that Omolola gave us. And you'll appreciate that. And our gift, we'll put that in the chat, is, she gave away 2 free session with her so that you can learn more about your finance and where you can put your money. So that's pretty good. That's priceless, because in 2 sessions you will grow your mindset first of all, and then you'll grow your money, because she'll tell you all the great thing you could do with your money. And if you think you don't have any money, she'll find you ways that you can find more money. So again, this is Denise Belil with In Motion Coaching, and it's all good show. Luke is here for a chat, and thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Next week, I'll have Debbie Baker with me. That'll be a pleasure to also introduce you to a brand new person. I'm always happy to be here on Monday and just bring an array of amazing people to just support you, to bring different perspective in life. And sometimes it's about money, sometimes it's about life, sometimes it's about health. You never know what's coming. So keep coming every Monday at noon Pacific, and I'm always happy to have you here. So if you're watching from YouTube, please subscribe, click on the bell to be notified. And if you're watching this on replay, you can put your comment in the chat, put #replay, and I love for you to be here every week. So have a wonderful week. Until next time, be kind to one another. Goodbye.